Okay, the reason I started my spiritual journey is because I had a lot of inner fear. I was afraid of a lot of things, especially growing up in the Hindu culture. They were always emphasizing, of God, and you gotta be fear of God, and that idea really creates a perception in me, and you know, and there was always fear of something. And the reason to start my spiritual journey is to don't want to live in fear. I want to live freely without that mental nagging in my head that I have to be afraid of, always afraid of something. So the reason is to dissolve the fear so I can live life, fearlessly. And but when I started the journey, I had no clue about how to proceed the practice. The place I was involved was yoga, and yoga was about being aware of yourself and organizing the body, aligning the body, and that's pretty much that's it. And it did help me to be aware of myself, but yoga did not eliminate the fear in me. Then somehow along the way, one of my friends helped me to get this book, and I bought all of his book, but it was on the bookshelf, just collecting the dust. And somehow there was a time I lost my relationship, I lost my mom, and all this, kind of moving away from things happened naturally. And then I was lonely in the room, sitting, just staring at this bookshelf, and suddenly my eye glued to this book, and I picked up the book, and then I started reading. And when I was reading it, I resonated with the book, but reading the book also triggered me that I gotta do certain things to be free. What I did in the past was completely, that time I saw whatever I did was completely a BS work of spirituality. The book told, kind of shared the information that you have to trace your mind back to figure out the truth, and truth will set you free. So again, then I started to read the book. I read this book completely one round, and when I was reading the book, I was pointing the fingers at myself, where I cling on to things, where I actually made things in my head and for the world, on how I put myself in the world. So there was all make-believe. And then you have to dissolve all these things. You have to let go. You have to dissolve. You have to, get rid of it to get to the truth. And then after reading the book, then I started to do the little work of, okay, let me see how far this will work. Because everything I tried so far nothing is working to set me free from all my, fear. I have nothing to lose, so let me try this. So I apply the approach, and I trace one of the attachment that I had in me. I trace it back. Okay, where is this attachment coming from? And then there was kind of not smooth in the beginning. It was like I see few steps before my attachment, few layers that help to cling onto things, but I could not track it down to the root. But I see something that it can help me, because I was seeing something that I wasn't seeing before. So it helped me to see some layers, and then I practiced, again, okay, let me go back again, revisit this process. And then I did it again, and then it helped me move further in. So that kind of inspired me to stay with the practice and keep doing it. And that helped me to trace it back all the way to figure out the root of the fear or why I'm attached to certain things. So I saw the reason, the layers that I'm, maintaining. So, and then being in the process, it helped me to uh, see the root. And basically, what I did was all the attachment I had in my life, I traced it back to figure out the root. I wasn't able to eliminate the root that time, but it helped me to get to the root. No matter what attachment I had, I found that all attachment was the same root. There was one root, but it has extended the different extension from that root, and there's a different attachment. So I realized that whatever attachment I had on the surface was the same root. And then I was not able to get rid of from my life at the time because I was maintaining something, prolonging something. And this is where I stay in the journey. I simplify my life and let go of a lot of stuff and try to keep only essential stuff. I need to do certain things so I can maintain my, some level of flow that I need to do it so I can maintain my, regular thing, the essential things, little bit of job, little bit of interaction, little bit of, so I maintain that and I keep going into this process. I saw the root, I saw all the attachment, the reason for to attach, but I wasn't able to uproot the root. I did simplify my life. Then I went to job again that I had no money, so I went to job. So then I started teaching again, and one night I was teaching meditation to these people, and I was also, while I'm teaching, I'm putting that inquiry in my life as well. So I put that question in me and I asked myself, who am I? And that moment it just clicked. And this clicking happened because I was thorough in dismantling first to figure out the root. I wasn't eliminating the root yet, but this who am I helped me eliminate the root now because I caught that my ego self cannot comprehend the truth. You can only go to this plain sight truth, but you cannot never expand the plain sight truth. You can go there, and that's the journey. So that who am I clicked in a way that I'm so stupid that every time I ask myself this question, I was trying to verbalize. I'm trying to give the answer. And journey towards waking up is giving up the answer, including the question, and sitting with nothing. So I caught myself, no matter, I asked myself, who am I? But I back then, I was always trying to give the answers. I was always trying to question further, to figure out further. But at that moment, all this question and answer is still the mind. And it's about dissolving the mind. And that moment, but again, this happened because, I was thorough in dismantling all my layers. I saw the root. I saw the causes to maintain the root. I saw it. I traced it down, all the attachment, all the fear that I had in my life. I deconstructed. And that who am I made sense, and everything made it easier. So that was my journey. So again, the reason to being part of this spiritual journey is about, not to live my life in fear, not to live my life with this nagging mind, the mind that is creating so much contradiction, the mind that is telling me I have to do this, even the things that I don't want to do it, but the mind is still telling me you got to do this, and all this thing is there because of my environment, how I was brought up, how I was taught as what I need to do, and somehow there was a resistance to all these things, and there was also fear because I was resisting what the environment is telling me to do. So yeah, and I don't want to do it. So don't want to follow that, and that triggered me to be part of the spiritual journey. Again, the spiritual journey that I was aligned for a decade was a just ego trip until I started to do the inquiry practice, and that was the true liberation that happened in my life. Okay.